Night after night, we are hearing stories of people around the world who are trying to help in Ukraine. Tonight, that story is right here at home. A gun store owner in Florida is sending 400 guns to Ukraine to help civilians fight off Russian troops. Adrian Kellgren joining us tonight. He is the owner of KelTec. Great to have you with us, and thanks for the work that you and your team are doing to make this happen. So share with me the story behind this shipment of guns, because it sounds as though it has some layers. These guns were stranded at some point?
Yes, so thank you for having me on. The origin of this particular order was based on a customer of ours that we've been doing business for years, since 2015. It was an order to Odessa with one of our distributors down there, and there were civilian firearms that they've been ordering regularly for years. Around October, they put a very large order, and so as usual, we applied for export license to the end user, and in early February, it was granted to us. So right away, we started producing the order, and 2.5 weeks later, the Russian Federation invaded. And a few days after that, we attempted to contact our Odessa client and had failed to reach them. So a few more days went by later, and we realized that we don't think we're going to be able to find a connection over there in Odessa. So the plan went ahead to take the summary group that was completed at the time and donate them to the Ukrainians through their Ministry of Defense.
What type of weapons are we talking about, and how much is it worth?
So the rifles, they're 9mm carbines. So they're foldable carbines. So ideally for folks that want to conceal and move around in and around urban environments, they're worth roughly $200,000 to them. And again, this is something that before we even ship the final order, we'll take a wire transfer for that. But again, they didn't end up finishing the order, so it's going to them. The plan was that these were going to be Ukrainian rifles, and we're going to get them into their hands.
Does the money come out of your pocket? Where do you finance this?
When we produce any amount of arms, we fund it entirely ourselves. So we hope that there will be an end user check when everything's done and ready to ship. In this case, there was not. And for us, this is just right to get them over there so that they do what they were designed to do, is defend their home and state.
Well done. Getting the guns to Ukraine into the hands of the Ukrainians, the civilian fighters, the army, I know that comes with a lot of red tape, a lot of challenges, regulations, even smuggling the guns into the war zone. Describe for me some of the logistical hurdles you've had to overcome to make this happen.
Sure. The export law with regards to firearms is heavily regulated, of course. So we're familiar with the process in applying for export licenses. In this case, the first export license we had to the Odessa client took roughly 4 months to apply for and then get delivered. It goes through the Department of Commerce, the Department of State, Department of Defense to get through all their routing processes. When we wanted to change the end user to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, we were able to clear that in 4 days, which was spectacular. I've never seen anything like that regarding the federal government and its agencies. It was incredibly rapid, and that's a huge kudos to the folks there at the Department of Commerce, Defense, and State. So once that's cleared, the next line is to create the path into delivery to Ukraine. So what we do is a commercial route that gets through a NATO country that gets over to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. Then they have to take the journey and distribute that to who they think needs those supplies, militia members or fighters in and around the outskirts of sieged cities.
Hey, Adrian, incredible work that you guys are doing. My question, I'm fascinated by what you guys are hearing back from the Ukrainians in terms of, do they have enough people who are trained who can use these weapons?
We didn't get any kind of feedback on that. Right now, they're begging for supplies. They're begging for body armor, helmets. They're begging for rifles. They're begging for thermal optics, night vision goggles. Night vision scopes, anything related to that, they're looking for that to distribute into the fighters that are currently resisting a large superpower's invasion right now. So what they're doing as far as the ground game and to training these guys to use this, I don't know too much about that.
I hate to ask it this way, though, but as you pointed out, the Russian military rolled in T-72 tanks. Does semi-automatic weapons that would normally be used for consumers make a difference on the battlefield?
The only thing that's going to make a difference in this case is the people using them. We equipped the Ukrainian National Army with the best equipment known to man. I think they were the second best equipped army at the time when we left, and they capitulated in 3 days. These guys are fighting with civilian arms. That was a very restrictive gun laws at the time, and they're holding off a superpower right now, which just shows the incredible zeal of their fighters. And at the end of the day, it's the will to fight that's going to carry the day.
Well, and we're watching that happen. Adrian, clearly you were compelled to help in this way. As a former U.S. Navy pilot, though, I believe you see this conflict through a much different lens. As you watch the battle happening before our eyes, at our fingertips, on our devices, all of these images coming out of there, how do you reconcile what you're seeing?
It's tough. When you look at that, there's two ways you can kind of cope with this. It's to turn it off and look away, or to do something. And if you're struck by this, if you ever waver in your determination to get this done, you just 2 seconds on the news and your resolve comes right back, especially for the doers. That's kind of at this point, the motivation, not just with me, but everybody involved. A lot of the people doing the legal work and the attorneys involved with this, many of them have family members right now under active attack. There's bombs falling around, and they're trying to get daily updates. Are you still alive today? That's unbelievable. So in the interim, we're trying to do everything we can with regards to the proper channels to supply our donation over to the Ukrainian government.
Well, I applaud your effort, and I know there are other owners of even family-owned gun shops as well who are doing the same, trying to get munitions into the hands of those who are fighting for something much greater than any of us. Adrian Kellgren, owner of KelTec, thank you for giving us some time tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.